Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's remain standing. Let's say a quick prayer for the people in Ukraine. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'd like to start off this evening. We have a few new members I'd like to introduce. Besides myself and Ron and Isabel and Tim, we have Kathy at the end. We have Lisa at the other end, and we have Doug. Okay. So now we have a full board. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the meeting minutes from last... I'm sorry? Didn't I call the meeting to order? Okay, call the meeting to order. Okay. I'd like to make a motion, get a motion for accept the meeting minutes from last month.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of the meeting.
Okay. And do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Okay, in front of us today is the application from Mr. Kuran, application number ZB22001. Tax map parcel is 6356-03-108498, 53 McGrath Terrace. It's an R40 zoning district at 2.1 acres. The applicant is seeking the following avenue of relief for the purpose of construction of 22 feet 6 inch by 38 foot attached garage with bonus room and storage above. The front right side variance of 11 feet 6 inches where 25 feet is the minimum setback requirement. Said variance would result in a 13 feet 6 inch front side setback. The rear right side variance of 17 feet 9 inches where 25 feet is the minimum setback requirement. Said variance would result in a rear side setback of 7 feet 3 inches. Said requests are in violation of Town of Fishkill Code 150-37B and the schedule of regulations of residential districts. Let's see. The public hearing for this matter was closed by the Zoning Board of Appeals at the regularly scheduled meeting on March 15th. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. We're here tonight to discuss the 5 factors. And before we get into that, I'd like to get some advice from council. Go into executive session so we can discuss how we go about these 5 factors. Okay, so I'm going to ask everybody to leave the room so we can go into executive session. Okay? Do I make a motion to, hear a motion to go into executive
We
session?
do need a motion to
I'll make the
to go
motion.
into executive session for that limited purpose.
Okay.
Yes, I will make that motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry? You can stay, I don't care. Just close the door, please. New members, are they up on board with this case?
Yes, I've watched the
You-
videos
you-
a
you
few times.
familiarize yourself with
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, I saw the last
Okay, all right, because that's important too.
Right, that is very important.
Yeah.
New members, and if you're sworn in as new members, you are authorized to participate fully and to vote on an application. And it's great that you've brought yourself up to date on it, and you're ready to go.
Okay. Okay. I don't have a problem with that. They can't vote, but they can, you can speak up. Absolutely, you could, you know. I have to address it? Okay.
I knew it, that's why I had a problem. I tried.
Since we have a full board, and we have 2 alternates, I think it's also okay for them to speak up if they have comments or questions.
Yes, I was just discussing that with Debbie, and it seems that that's perfectly fine to put in their observations, their views, their opinions. It's just that at the time of voting, it'll just be the 5 members who are all present will be voting.
You got to make a motion allow for that?
Usually, the chair says they have the power of voice
Okay.
and no vote. That's usually the way it goes.
Okay,
It's at his discretion.
Okay, so we get started?
yes, let's do that.
Okay, there are 5 factors that we will review tonight. The first one is whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by granting of the area variance. Anybody have any opinions on this?
Down the line.
We'll start with
I'm
Kathy,
going
or
to start
jump
with
right
me.
in.
Oh, my goodness. So, in my opinion, as far as a change to the character of the neighborhood as a whole, no, I don't think it would create a change there. A detriment to nearby properties, I do think that it's very, very close, and whether the debate is whether the Tierney's use that property or they don't use it, it's still theirs. It's still part of that property should they choose to sell it. Who knows what somebody wants to do with that property in the future. So it is quite close. That's how I'm looking at it.
Tim?
I kind of agree with Kathleen with the first part. I really don't think that it's, going to cause an undesirable change to the neighborhood. It is a little close to the property line, but the thing that kind of sways me away from it being a big issue is I'd have a bigger problem, I guess, if you had a house here and a house here, and then you were encroaching, closer to the property line. But that's about all I have to say on that. I don't really have a problem with it.
Isabel?
I have a problem with it, though.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Well, I do too, and it's not that it's just that it's close, but it's big. It's also the size of this thing. And I think the fact that it's so close to the property line, I think that would be a detriment to the neighbor if they did try to sell their property.
Absolutely.
And that would have an impact on the sale of their home. And I think that is a very serious concern, and we have to consider that. So-
Even if it's really a
It's-
piece of property. I know it's still theirs, and I know it's part of a sale.
I hear
But
you.
you're not going to build something on it. It's a, small triangle. Okay,
I mean,
clarify my point.
My opinion is that it might not be major, but it does really impact it. I've drove by there a few times. I know if I lived there, I wouldn't necessarily want to go around the corner and see it.
Right.
Joe?
I was thinking the same thing. I don't think it changes the character of the neighborhood, but it is large, and it might affect the sale of someone else's home.
Lisa?
I think being that that area, that small triangle, is not buildable upon, and it looks like he plans on putting quite a significant fence and shrubbery, that it probably wouldn't affect the sale of the property, being that it's, like I said, if that was buildable on and something could be built that close to it, that would be very unfair.
Okay. Anybody else have any more comments on the first factor? Okay. The second factor, whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. Yeah.
From watching the videos a few times, I haven't seen any clarity on if there is any feasibility. There does seem to be plenty of room around the house, and, if it's a matter of not getting too close to the pool, which was brought up, instead of, putting it on the other side, which is close to the neighbor's property. I just, I'm a little flip-floppy on that one, I'll be honest. But again, I don't know if there's any more insight on clarity on if there has been any other ways to achieve the garages and the bonus room.
Well, you know as well as I do, I mean, this thing's been beat to death.
We beat that one up.
We really did. I mean, we looked at it, I mean, I've been out there, I've been out to in front of the Tierney's house and looked from their venue. Quite honestly, if it was my home and I was trying to build it I'd be losing the access to my basement. They have Bilco doors or something over there from what the plan shows. And this addition, if you did put it on that side, is now encroaching on your pool where you're out entertaining or, enjoying your family. So, like I said, I think we beat this one to death, and I don't really see anything else that can be done with it.
Isabel?
I thought maybe if they could build out in the back where there's more room and on the side.
So you think he has got an alternative? Well, so will I. And we did go over this I've been over this over and over, But the thing is, I can't get by the fact that he's got a whole other acre on the other side of the house. And I can't get past that. And the fact that he wants to stick with this 22 by 38 foot structure, can he come up with a different idea on the other side? I mean, he's got a whole acre over there. That I can't get by that. Maybe not that particular structure, but something else, something common. I mean, like I said, I can't get by that. And to squeeze it over there and put it on this property line where it's overlooking the property line, it's 2 steps away from the property line. 1, 2, you're there. I mean, that's how I look at this, And it's not just the corner, it's the whole 38 feet is on top of this property line. And well, you mentioned the fence and the abrevieties. An 8-foot fence is not going to hide a structure that's peeking out at 20 feet. I mean, I think he'd have better options on the other side. And maybe not that, maybe angle or something, I don't know, but, and then he wouldn't have to be in front of us. I honestly think he can do something over there. That's just my opinion. Ron?
I don't know if you can do something else or not, but I know one thing, I don't think I overheard any conversation that we attempted to look at it. I don't know if you can or not, because I'm not a civil engineer or an architect. So my take is, I don't think we ever addressed it. Or we ever addressed it, we were gonna put a fence up or trees to shield it, things like that. I don't think it was ever pursued.
Yeah, that was pretty much what I was trying to say.
For me, it's much of the same. I don't know, again, I'm not any kind of builder or anything like that, and I'm not sure how far that would take him away from the driveway for that area, but it is awful close.
But does it have to be that size? We offered him the opportunity to resize this, and he rejected that. And again, it's about options. And I'm looking at this as, I think he has other options, as opposed to a variance of this nature. Lisa?
I see all your points, but where else could he put, I think the plan, I assume it's to be attached to the house to have access to it, whereas if he put it somewhere else, it would be a freestanding building. But again, I'm not an engineer, not a builder. I see your point. There's a lot more land
come up with a different idea, is what I'm saying, you know? Does it have to be this idea, you know? Anybody else want to add to that? You want to beat me up again, Tim?
Well, no, I just, like I said, we discussed this several times, and maybe I understood it a little bit better by moving this addition to the other side of the house. You got to remember, it's attaching to the house.
Right.
On this side, maybe, I don't know, I've never been in a man's house, maybe, you're going from the bedroom into this new playroom. Okay, on the other side, maybe it's bathroom and kitchen over there, and you have no avenue to get into the playroom now without doing major renovation inside the house. So that's why I looked at it and said, no, I don't think it can go on the other side. I looked at it in the back. Well, in the back, you have a patio, and then you start going back, you're going to start encroaching into wetland barriers and all kinds of other things. So, I mean, that's the way I looked at it and understood it. I mean, I understand plans a little bit more. I worked in construction my entire life, so I kind of understand that this really is only avenues on that side.
Like I said, a different idea.
Just for my edification, since I didn't see the presentation, is this proposed garage going to be attached to an existing garage on the house?
Yes.
Or is it?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
And it's a four-car garage. It's 2x2 and
And
two
the top
by-
story
2x2.
attaches to the house, making
Yeah.
more living space.
Right.
That's going to be the
With a
bonus
big
room
playroom.
above the garage space?
Above the garage, yes.
Okay,
I think that's more of the interest than the garage itself.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. The third option, the third factor is whether the requested area variance is substantial. I don't think there's any question, but
100, it's very substantial.
Tim?
Yeah, it is substantial. I mean, it's 71%
It
and
is
51%. So it's substantial. I mean, this board has given bigger variances before.
Anything,
That's all I have to say on that.
anything over 50% is considered substantial. And again, this isn't a deck, this isn't a shed, this is a building. It's a structure that's 22 by 38, peeking out at 20 feet, right adjacent to the property line. So it's substantial, in my opinion. Ron?
Oh, it's substantial.
Agreed.
Okay, the fourth factor, whether the proposed area variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or zoning district. Okay?
Environmental, no, it doesn't. As far as the neighborhood, it's subjective, but this one I don't think is quite as a big a deal as the others.
No, I don't have a problem with that.
Yes. There are some wetlands around, but the fact that he made an effort to present this and address that issue, I don't have a problem with it. I think that he did try to address that, he's making an attempt to address that, and as long as this goes forward to the engineer, the town engineer, I don't have a problem with that. Ron?
No, I guess, the only thing I would say, maybe a neighbor would have objection to the visibility of it. As far as I'm concerned, though, it's not a major thing.
Agreed. I don't think there's any adverse effect.
Okay. Whether the last factor, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the Board of Appeals, but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance. So it's self-created.
Definitely self-created.
Self-created is a question that I had when I read this, and I think the applicant is a victim of the way the house was originally laid out on the property. Self-created, yes, by wanting to do an addition, yes, it could be considered self-created. Unfortunately, the way the house was originally laid out on the property, you don't have much choice if you do want to do an addition on that side. So I don't consider that to be self-created. He bought the house from somebody, from what I understand. He's only been there 20-something years.
Yeah, he's only been there 26 years.
Okay, 26. Well, he bought the house from somebody else. I don't know what I'm
Yeah,
saying. He
yeah.
didn't build the house.
Yeah.
He didn't lay the house out on a property.
Right.
I think when the builder was here, he was discussing that at one of the
Yeah,
public
he,
hearings.
yeah, he added to the property, and, yeah. Isabel?
I agree with him.
Yeah, I go back and forth on this. The thing that I'm having trouble with also is the fact that this is a permanent structure. This is gonna be here 5 years from now, 10 years from now, forever. And, it wasn't like, and he didn't have this problem 5 years ago, 10 years ago, when he moved in. So, I honestly, yeah, it is self-created, in my opinion. So. Ron?
Well, from a purist point of view,
Hmm?
from a purist point of view, even though he bought the house, let me just say one thing. He's the guy that wanted to put it on there knowing that he required a variance, self-created.
Yeah, in my opinion, self-created. Absolutely.
I guess the want of an addition is self-created. I mean, it's hard to argue that point.
You can't argue it.
I mean, it's a want to build something, so, okay, yes, agreed.
Okay, anybody have any more comments concerning these factors? Okay, I think we're ready to make a motion. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, seems that, I'll make a motion that we approve with conditions. Conditions being the drainage be taken care of and approved by the town engineer. The shrubbery, privacy fencing, et cetera, that was discussed and shown on the plans. Part of the condition of variance, I would say that would need to be done. And, well, the other one we discussed, and that shouldn't be in there. So those are the two that I would make conditions if this goes through.
Yeah, do I have a second? There's no second.
Second, doesn't it?
Okay. I guess does that mean it's denied? There's no second?
There was no second,
No second.
then there's no motion at this point.
Should we make a
I would
motion
then
to-
suggest, if there was no second for an approval with conditions, that a member of the board make perhaps another motion with respect to denying the application, if it's not going to move forward. But I would like to see that the board make a definitive action, either granting with approval, or deny.
All right, do I have another motion to deny?
I'll make a motion to deny.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of denial?
Aye.
Could we get it's a
Aye.
4-1? And Mr. Terrell, you're opposed to that motion, correct?
Sorry, Mr. Kuran. I think you have other options still, and I think you can pursue them. So, any other comments? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.